Hey.
There we go. That's like that.
Southern Comic Geek. Finally, we got you on the program.
Yeah, yeah. You just stay so booked, Bill. You know, that's what it
Well,
is.
you're the man who's I think been the most busy when I've invited you a few times over the years. And Tuesday nights, is it like bowling league night or something like that? I mean, you clearly have something else going on Tuesday evenings, so you don't even get to watch the interviews I do. But
Well, yeah, I normally come in late in the chat, and then I have to catch everything on the first half of the rewind. So,
right. Well, I'm glad that you had some time over the holidays to take some time off, and you can do this interview with us. Oh, and Carl Choi is here. You knew your Valiant buddies were going to be in the chat. I mean, how could they miss out on an opportunity like this?
yeah, we were wondering when you put the I sent you the picture for the thumbnail, and I was thinking like, were you just going to cut me out, which is would have been fine, and then you put everybody in there. So we were kind of wondering if you were trying to get some of that, triple X action back to the views
Well,
again.
I tend to not like to edit the images that people send in. I mean, that one came in, and I thought, I know I know what the purpose of that photo with Carl in the center of it and all. And then I thought, I could cover up Carl and Newell with some artwork.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
have you like that. And I thought, you know, I like people to be represented in the manner in which they choose to be represented. So I don't do a lot of touch ups and editing out there. But I mean, if you felt that was the best photo that represents you as an art collector, then I'd go.
It was the one that was the easiest accessible when you asked for it. So
There we go. There we go. Well, no, but yeah, that's. I thought it was funny. I get it, and it'll last on the internet forever now. So, we've clearly run into each other plenty of times at different shows, but and typically when we do, it's an art exchange going on, right? I mean, you've picked up something from a CAF Plus show, and we kind of hold out till to deliver it in person, at least when we have a show coming up. So, tell me, weirdest place that you've ever done a handoff before with OA only. So,
okay, well, I just want to. I'm glad you clicked that. I mean, especially going segueing from the triple X all the way into where's the weirdest handoff. I mean, I just thought it was kind of weird segue there, Bill. But I'm glad
yeah. Well, I don't know, it just popped into my head. So,
Um, no, I mean, usually the con is the easiest place to meet up with people that are going to the same spot. As it so happened, the last couple of times I picked up art were Bart Sears shows that you had done right prior to going to, like, say, Heroes. And so, yeah, I mean, that's probably I'm just looking around the room to see some of the pieces. Yeah, it's probably the normal place to. I can't think of any kind of weird ones that would create great stories for the show. Unfortunately,
no back alley, or at the Walmart parking lot, because that was where both of you felt comfortable doing an art exchange.
yeah, no bathroom tap dancing or anything like
No,
that
no, no,
either.
that can't happen ever. There's no way. You don't take the art anywhere near any water, so that's a no.
Yeah, it's about like gremlins. You don't want to get them wet. So
No, not at all. So hey, I guess we have a treat because I guess I'm special. You don't usually use the wall angle often. We looked at two different camera angles before we started here. So
well, what Diego's talking about generally. So I'm in the comic room tonight for this because I wanted to, Valiant represent back here. But normally I'm in front of my Monopoly board, which is in my office where my desk is at. So when I do my videos on my channel, that's generally the angle everybody sees, and that's what he's talking about. So yeah, I am pretty vanilla, Diego. You watch me long enough, I'm fairly vanilla.
well, I don't know. Well, we're going to find out tonight if that's true or not. I always, you seem to have a very eclectic collection. So it's, at least on the collecting side of things, I wouldn't say you're very vanilla. I mean, but then again, Valiant begins with V and vanilla begins with a V. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
there's something there. I don't know. But
So there's Vanilla Ice, but I'm not going to break it out tonight.
there might be some entertainment this evening that no one was expecting.
Yeah. It is all in all possible. Except my collection is fairly eclectic. But talking about Vanilla Ice, I just got this in, and so I was thinking about getting some of the Turtles actors to sign it. Um, but maybe one day Vanilla Ice can sign it. So I won't break
Wow.
out Ninja Go or anything.
Oh man, no, that's awesome. I haven't thought about that in a long time. Ninja Turtles is not something that we've had on outside the cartoons in a long time. I haven't watched any of those early films. That'd be fun to go back to. Then maybe we'll do that on New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
Fun
but
to do.
the first two hold up. That the latter one's not so much. Yeah, see.
Derek. Oh man. So we got the best ofs coming up. We have a deadline in just a little over 24 hours. If you've put anything up there that you're going to enter in the competition this year?
I haven't, but I'm glad you reminded me. I got the email the other day, like everybody did, and so yeah, I'm planning on putting some stuff up there because this definitely was a big year for me. I was looking at the total posted on CAF, 174 pieces,
Oh
and so
shoot.
yeah, it was a little smaller than last year as far as numerically, because I was over 200 then, but a lot bigger pieces. I will say that there were a lot as far as money wise per piece.
So if you added it all up, you spent a lot more money in 2025 than
Uh,
2024.
that that would be a safe bet to take to Vegas for sure.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I still have a few pieces to upload as well to get them ready for the best steps. I'm not sure what I'm going to enter. I know I've got a few mystery sketches for sure I'm going to put in there, but I have to go back and look at the published pieces and just see which pieces hold up enough to put them out there.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of one of the things that this year, and I'm sure it happens to everybody, or know that it does. My collection kind of evolved, and it didn't slow down per se. It was just I do a lot less commissions now. Um, Maybe I have my select 10. I don't know, of things that I collect. Just kind of learning to say, hey, I can appreciate the art without having to buy it. So
Hmm.
that's kind of the deal there. But I still collect comics. Haven't really bought any big comics, but I do have 14,000 comics surrounding behind you here, behind the camera.
Not all on display though, right? You get some long boxes and
Right. Yeah. 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 Not all of them are slabaroos, but yeah, most of them are raw.
are they all Valiant comics?
No, no. I mean, I do have a complete set of all the Valiant VH1 and VH2 and most of the VEI stuff. I even collect the current stuff. But no, I mean, I've had whole runs of Uncanny X-Men, Incredible Hulk. I actually sold my number ones to both those titles. But as I was kind of freeing up monies for other things. I did collect the professor is ever diligent. Yeah, I recently posted on IG that I collected the final Valiant voice. As much as people give Valiant uh, problems for being overprinted back in the 90s, and certainly certain titles were, there are things that are a little harder to get. And two of those Valiant voices are part of that.
I have no idea what a Valiant voice is.
It was a news. It was printed on newsprint, and you would fold it out, and you'd read like kind of like a mini newspaper. It was like a quarter.
Oh, it's like the
You,
Village
you know,
voice, but the Valiant voice.
yeah, and you would have like things that were coming out for Valiant and various other things related to timelines. And Mark, Mr. Collector, yeah, he's going to be visiting OAX this year. It's got a couple of other people from what we refer to as the comic book side of the community that's going to be visiting OAX, and he's going to be like a kid in the candy store. So
I have a feeling, but he had to get a second job thanks to you. Came on the OA collecting, and now the guy he needs two jobs just so he can afford his habit.
well, we're not going to talk too much about the second job on the internet, seeing as that it is illegal in most states except for Nevada. So but we won't go.
The tips are great, right?
Right. That's what she said. Um,
Oh, brother. All right. So yeah, Derek says the same thing about the Valiant Voice. It was a paper newsletter. That's cool. I mean, hey, you got to try different things. So I assume they were distributed at comic stores then, right? I mean,
yeah,
is it
that's where I used to
limited?
pick them up.
Okay. Huh. Well, back to the eclectic side of things. The fact that you like Valiant art. I mean, I think Valiant, for essentially being a small company, worked with a very diverse group of artists. So, if we look at just the artists alone, when you get people like Barry Windsor Smith and Leighton Sears, I mean, you get a pretty interesting spectrum of artists that worked on those titles. So you kind of got that already baked into being a Valiant fan.
Well, the thing with early Valiant in particular, since it was headed by Jim Shooter, who was, a writer, and Rob Liefeld on his podcast, which is, really interesting to listen to. But on his podcast, he says, Valiant was for the readers, and Image was for, the people that just looked at the pictures, right?
Mhm.
That they weren't big on stories by his own admission. And, having been an avid reader and being at like the ground level of the continuity starting, was the painted look that all the pages had were just some of those things that, drew me in, early to the Valiant world. So,
But more of the stories, you'd say? I mean, is that
yeah.
true? Is Liefeld right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they started once Shooter left and all those ideas kind of, went away and they started doing the other ones. It was more, they tried to be more like Image, at least in my mind. They brought Bart Sears in, other artists, that were really flashy and stuff, and they kept some of the flair. But you know, it started kind of dwindling away as Acclaim bought them, and all that kind of stuff happened, which happens. When other companies buy you out, they have other ideas. Acclaim certainly was more interested in making video games with the IP than they were creating quality comic books.
Mhm. Well, I have only read a few Valiant books, not even full titles. So, I mean, if I were to dive into Valiant, what would you say? Is it Turok? Would that be a good place to start, or would you?
No, I would go back to like Solar. Did you ever read any of the Gold Key stuff back?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So like the the foundation of VH1 or the original Valiant were Magnus and Solar, and then Turok was introduced in Magnus 12. But yeah, so that would be the big place to start. Would be like Magnus, the robot fighter, Rye, if you're like a sci-fi guy, Solar, scratches that itch too. And XO is always referred to as Conan in a can, and
Yeah.
so you kind of got that as well um, on that title. So it really just depends on. I mean, they had a variety of interest. Just depends on if you were more of a futuristic guy, you went with Ryan the Future Force and Magnus and Psylords. If you were more present day Earth, you went with other things. And most people that are in their 40s and 50s now, I mean, two ways to sell a comic book: put dinosaurs or robots in them. I mean, it's a pretty uh, winning strategy. Eternal Warrior was a good one. I mean, if you're a fan or you remember the Highlander series back in the 90s that was on TV, the Eternal Warrior gives those kind of vibes. He remembers back to a time when he was there before, and then present day, and then it kind of brings the story together by the end. So, but yeah,
Yeah. I
the
heard.
Gold Key stuff was great. I mean, as far as the covers, the interiors weren't all that great, but the covers were awesome.
Giant gorillas are also a thing that draws people in, at least when they're on the covers, right? Not just dinosaurs and robots.
Yeah. Well, and so I mean, they do have their art thing, and as far as Valiant and art, because I'm more of a story collector, and Valiant, me remembering Valiant previously, when I was growing up, was reading the stories. It just kind of made sense. And to be totally transparent, I don't want to say totally honest because that implies I've been less than that at times. and I try to always be honest, but to be totally transparent, when it came to the art collecting, and like everybody else, you start picking up anything and everything because you just get so excited about it, and then you realize, well, hey, I need to focus a little bit. You might say you failed at that, Jason, and that might be true, but when it comes to certain titles like X-Men and stuff like that, you've got a lot of people vying for those pieces, and so there's less people vying for the Valiant pieces, and so you can get more for less, if that makes sense, and still
No,
feel
I
like
mean,
you accomplished
how does it feel to be, collecting a niche publisher that's, even less valuable than, I guess, like DC art, right, compared to Marvel art? I mean, at the end of the
something.
day, that works to your advantage, right? I mean, if we were to look on CAF, I mean, there's not just 3 or 4 Valiant art collectors out there because a lot of people remember really well. But yeah, when your competitive sphere is much smaller than going after some vintage X-Men pages or anything by Jack Kirby Marvel from the 60s.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you go after, I mean, even Hulk to a degree, which is one of my other, collecting habits, but it can get pretty expensive with those certain stories that everybody remembers. So that was one of the reasons that kind of drew into Valiant, and because of the barrier of entry being lower, I kind of leaned into that. And just for the record, there are a lot of Valiant pieces tonight. Spoiler alert, right? But I asked Bill, I said, do I want to put more Valiant pieces in? Because I kind of spread a lot of my different collecting likes in the slides tonight. But since there were a lot of X-Men, Bill said no. So they weren't by top.
Okay.
They weren't by
I mean,
top artists.
I may not, force you into any kind of do any editorial decisions on the imagery you send me for your show graphic, but yes, picking the pieces that we're going to talk about. We don't want to bore everybody, but no, I mean that's you have a lot of friends in the chat tonight. I see that Mad Spidey wants to know about if you talked about your naked Turok picture yet.
For the record, I was not naked. That's a lie. Fake news. But yeah, so Mad Spidey, he's from Australia, the land down under. And to answer your earlier question, Mad Spidey, it's probably Heroes Con 2019. No, let's see, 2219 now after that comment. But anyway, to answer his question, so I did a picture because people were asking me about Turoks, and I have like 300 plus copies of Turok #1. And so I got my wife to take them all out of the loan boxes and bury me in them. And so there's a picture of me. You can't see nothing but, part of my face, and everything else is covered. Leave it to your imagination, but I did have clothes on. And so there are some mugs. There's a guy, Spidey's Powder Tumblers, that does mugs for various people, and he did one and he uses the graphic that I sent him with that picture.
Wow. Yeah. Well, at least your wife was game to take that picture and set up all those. The thing is, I don't even know what's more impressive. I mean, you have over 300 copies of that book.
Yeah, I usually rescue them from.
Why didn't you stop at 10?
Because it's one of those what I call guilty pleasure books. I should feel guilty for owning so many of them because they're practically worthless, but it gives me pleasure, so I buy them anyway.
I mean, does that fill one long box? I mean, that's gotta.
No, there's multiple long boxes. Yeah. I've only got one. I think it's up here. I've only got one slab of it though.
But how many pages of original art do you have from that book?
I don't have any from Turok 1. I've got one from Turok 2. So I was going. So Bart, you were doing the show with Bart. I was coming back from Dallas Fan Expo last year, and I pulled over the side of the road so I wouldn't lose service. And there was a Turok 1 page that I liked and a Turok 2 page, and I was like, what do I do? And so somebody picked up the Turok 1 page, And I said, well, there it is. I buy the Turok 2. Now, that person has since sold it, and Carl is in ownership of that particular page, but it's in a good collection.
Yeah, well, the page from issue 2 was pretty nice too, as I recall. I mean, yeah, that was both those pages were great. I was surprised when Bart even had them, right?
Yeah, for sure. And he had told me at Heroes that whoever used to be his art rep or whatever had come across this treasure trove and said, "Hey, here you go," which worked out great for him because I'm sure that the prices are a lot higher now than what they were back when they would have been sold before.
Without question. And the thing is that the good news is there's probably plenty of other artists out there who had reps who've held onto their artwork that they've forgotten about, and you know, we can always expect at least once or twice a year to have some of this art make its way back out into the marketplace, right?
Yeah, for sure. And you just kind of hide and watch and, bide your time. And, because there's always some bigger fish to fry or bigger goal set out there. Like something shows up on Heritage. Because all you got to do is talk about something and all of a sudden it appears on Heritage, right? And then you go, oh, crap. I just spent all this money on this piece right here. What do I do? I know. I'll put it up for sale, and then the stuff kind of just, fluctuates
Right. I
along.
don't think it's Heritage listening in on our conversations and deciding, you know, hey, we can pull this one out of inventory. We know they have a inventory, but I don't think they do that. But I know what you mean though. It's like it seems like when you talk about something, when I started talking about Werner Roth X-Men art, right? All of a sudden you start seeing more Werner Roth X-Men art over at Heritage, and I think it was just fate. You know, it was just fate. But a lot of you're a celebrity, man. Let's see. Hortus Hyde says the only thing that Jason has that I'm jealous of besides his beautiful head of hair is that Geomancer book.
Yeah.
And I know
Yeah.
he said I think he said Valiant sucks earlier in the
Yeah, he's just carrying on. He's got a few pages from well, he's got a page from XO Man of War 15, and then he's also got a Deathmate prologue page. So that he hasn't turned loose yet. But yeah, he's actually one of the first people that got me into collecting art. He sent me a Shadow Man piece, production piece, and got me interested in doing that kind of stuff because I wasn't planning on going down this road, but best laid plans of mice and men and all that.
I think you need to have a talk with your Australian friend. He says, I know a lot of friends on CAF, but never started his own CAF gallery. You got that much? You should. Come on, man. There's an app out there. You don't even have to like scan them if you don't want to anymore. You could just use your phone, take pictures, upload them that way. Just baby steps. Baby steps.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Matt Spidey has a great collection. He's done videos on his YouTube channel showing off the various things. Obviously, he's not a Valiant nor a DC guy. He's pretty Marvel heavy, as a lot of people are. But he showed them off. But that's a great way to start re-engaging with the art. Go, man, I remember when I bought this. I remember why I bought it. Or it's a good way to say, hey, I need to kind of part ways with it, free up some funds for something else.
That is true. I was going through my CAF gallery the other day and clicking on the years just to see, well, what did I buy in 2023? I don't remember. You just, it is kind of fun. It gives you a little bit of perspective on your buying habits and I don't know, I guess what you chose to share and when. And it's not something I don't think everybody does too often, but this time of year, I think more people are thinking about it, whether it's because of the best of or it's the end of the year and you're maybe trying to set goals for next year and you start looking at that. But I find those to be very helpful. I mean, I've gone back and, a couple times and just checked out like, 05 through 12, just to kind of see what was I buying, 15 years ago, because I don't even remember what my passions were at that time. It's kind of cool. At least when you've used the site for a while.
And if you're on like a buying freeze because you just purchased a big piece that you're paying off or something like that, it's always a good way to kind of sedate yourself, so to speak, so you don't get the jitters because a new package from Anthony's not coming in the mail, right?
Yeah, I got an email from him from his stamps.com thing today. He's saying I have a package coming in. I haven't ordered anything, so I can't imagine. It's probably a New Year's Eve gift of some kind. But I screwed up, man. I didn't put a link to your CAF gallery in the chat. I mean, I know it's in the show description, but as a reminder to everybody here, I just threw it in the chat right now. There we go. So if you're not familiar with Jason's CAF gallery, there it is. You've only been a member. I mean, I'm looking at the date since February 2022. So you're kind of came in during the pandemic. So Is that give me the scoop on when you started collecting art versus when you chose to start posting stuff to CAF.
It was fairly fast. I started, got back into collecting in 2019, so right before the pandemic.
Mhm.
And then, they had these neat things, sketch covers that they didn't have when I was collecting before, right? And so that was kind of the gateway drug, so to speak, because I'm like, I can have this one of one if I take it to the artist and kind of, give him an idea of what to draw, and he draws it, right? Well, I go to Pensacon, which Pensacola, Florida, and John Dale is there, and he's selling some art, and I'm like, I just don't know if I want something this big. I mean, I got to find more room for that. I mean, what do I do? But I bought 2 pages anyway, and then bought a page from Carl Milan that day too. And so the rest is history. I mean, and then shortly after that, so that would be been 2021 maybe. So when I somehow the YouTube algorithm showed me CAF, and I think that's how I found out about it. And so, and I'm one of these people now. Once I got everything that was backlogged up to that point posted, I'm one of these people now that like as soon as I get it, I post it. Um, it is partly because you want that sense of accomplishment, but the other thing for me is CAF provides like a database of what I paid for what, and so
Hmm.
for insurance purposes, it's a good way to kind of catalog that. So if I was to have some kind of devastating fire or something like that, that I can go back and say, hey, this is what I paid for this, and this is when I got it.
Yeah, I don't think enough people utilize CAF in that way, but it's great for that. If you enter in the this private sales data, it's not shared to anybody else. We can't see it, anything like that. I use it. I mean, it's a good it gives me a good perspective on how much I've spent over the years, and if I actually bother to update some of my expected values on stuff, it gives me an idea what the whole collection's worth too. So no, I encourage people to do that. And the funny thing is one day when we're all forced to properly, account for these, the things that we buy or sell with the
Yep.
IRS, because somehow, some way that's going to happen. It's probably good to know what you paid and have an archive of that, so you can say what the gains on that sale ended up being. I was looking into that today, just reminding myself about capital gains tax and what you're supposed to do with collectible sales and all that sort of thing. And uh, you just never know. Because I was looking at it in terms of like selling through auction houses, because auction houses don't typically 1099 you. But if you were ever audited, they could go. The IRS could go to the auction house and force them to give you all the sales information that you had. So in theory, you really do want to be archiving what you paid for something, just on the outside chance you get screwed one day by the IRS with an audit. Hate to say it, but
No,
true.
that's a great point. I mean, because depending on which administration wants to tax $600 PayPal accounts, you know, like it can change on a dime, right? And so it's always good to have that backup.
Yeah, Matt Spidey's letting us know he doesn't have to worry about that.
You got to worry about them dingoes coming in.
That's true. That is so true. It is an American problem, Rich Danny says. Yep. We get it. We get it. It is what it is. But Hortus Hyde, but he's got an angle on you today. He says you post things as soon as the hammer drops in an auction and don't even wait for the art to show up.
Sometimes, and so Ruben told me this. He said, one day you're going to be burnt on this. And I haven't learned my lesson, but I did for a little while. So I posted something as soon as because that's how I used to do everything. Like as soon as I won it, I posted it on CAF.
Sure.
And then what happened was he said, hey, one day a package is going to get lost. Sure enough, FedEx lost my package.
He
So like
cursed
it's
you.
kind of a jinx, you know.
Yeah,
And so,
exactly.
I quit doing that for a while, and so now I only do it on like super big pieces. Now, one of the pieces that we're going to show tonight is a super big piece. I did wait till they actually sent it. I've already uploaded it in my CAF, but it's not visible to everybody. So I'll do that after the show is over with. So
Wow. So, huh. But well, I know a lot of collectors that do that though. That post the artwork after the hammer, before they can get it in, and that's okay. I mean, you're excited. You want to show it off. I get it. I'm usually too lazy. I tend to. I'm always behind anyway, so I wouldn't have the opportunity to do that. But no, it's always it is what it is. Everybody can have their own approach to that. A lot of people like to do their own scans, right? But then
Mhm.
there's all people who will just take the heritage with their logo on the bottom and post that to CAF. To each their own.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, and sometimes the scans work. So you'll notice tonight, especially on the DPSs, that there's normally scans from, like, say, the dealer I bought them from, and that's just because my scanner's not that big. Now, a lot of times I'll use my scannable app, which is part of Evernote. I don't know if you use Evernote or not, but
oh,
it takes a really good scan, quality scan, and more oftentimes than not nowadays, I actually scan it straight from my phone as opposed to using my brother scanner.
hmm. Evernote. All right, I'll look into it. I've not heard of that before.
Every time I browse a cat page, I just
I had a yeah, I get it. I'm sorry. I was looking through some of the starred messages up here, just see stuff I may or may not have missed. Dave Kopecki, he buys plasm cards,
Mhm.
just like you buy, those number one issues. So,
So the Valiant cousins, as I refer to them, are the things that were related to Valiant. So Valiant,
mhm.
when Jim Shooter got kicked out, he created Defiant. So I have a whole run of Defiant comics. I backed the Defiant Kickstarter that's supposed to be released sometime this coming year. And then he had Broadway comics. So I collected all the Broadway comics. And then, the same thing happened with Dinesh. I do the same thing with the Bad Idea stuff. Now, the Bad Idea stuff, the first iteration of it was kind of hard to get because my shop locally didn't have it. And they were kind of like very niche in the shops that they partnered with to do stuff. But it's more widespread now, with Kickstarter and everything else that they do. So.
Yeah. I actually have never read a Bad Idea comic. The stories.
Yeah, I mean they got top tier artists on that stuff. A lot of the people that Dinesh worked with over at Valiant, and Robert Vendetti. Which, if anybody wants to read, like, just want to start out with Exo Man of War, I recommend Exo Man of War by Robert Vendetti. He wrote almost every single issue, if not every one, and it's like a 50 issue arc. But yeah, I mean, it's great. This is a master class on how to take a person from the start and how they develop a character. Because a lot of times writers don't get developing a character. Especially happens when you get a new writer on there and they want to, make their own mark. They take the character in a totally different direction. It's okay to try new things with characters, but it's not
Mhm.
okay for their, like, basics of who they are. That was one of the reasons why I had a problem when they made Cap a Hydra agent. I just thought that was, like, just so far off the beaten path, just to try to get it, a couple sales out of a few issues. Yeah.
Hey, no, I'm with you there. There's there's been a lot of bad storytelling over the years. So yeah, I did see Newell mention that Jonathan Wayshak does cul-de-sac. Now I don't know what cul-de-sac is, but I love seeing the artwork that Wayshak posts on CAF, or posts on his Facebook page. Because I mean, I should be reading it because his art's in it, and it looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff, and I like getting they did it's not quite like old school newsprint, but it's like closer to it versus the glossy pages. It really gives you
Mm.
this vibe, that you're reading a comic book from back in the day. You get at least I do get some nostalgia vibes from it. So, but yeah, it's a fun book, and Wayshak's art is amazing in it.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And we have to say, you are not able to go to OAX this year. Isn't that true? Because have you told people why you can't go to OAX? Or do we not
Well,
want to say why that is tonight?
Yeah, so some people know, but unless something changes, which is all in all possible, yeah, so I won't be able to go to OAX because my oldest daughter is having my first granddaughter. So this will be number 4 on the grandkids slide, and but yeah, my first granddaughter, and so supposed to happen the week of OAX. Now, if they schedule her, because my wife and I, we had 6 kids, and so every one of them was a C-section.
Mhm.
And so if they go ahead and schedule that for her, they'll schedule her early. And if that's the case, I might can make OAX. So we'll see.
All right. Well, you gotta family stuff always comes first.
Right.
You won't, your wife might not take a photograph of you beneath a stack of comic books. Again, if you don't.
I know, right?
Well,
She might
right,
bend
right.
on.
Well, hey, first granddaughter. That's I'd be excited about it too. So it's a good reason to miss OAX if you have to, but if you can swing it, you've got a ticket to come because love to have you.
Yeah. So
Uh,
you got an awesome lineup. I mean, we were I was doing a show last night. Mark was on there, Mr. Collector in the chat, and another guy. Both of whom are they're going to OAX, and we were just talking about the lineup, and I was, my experience last year, with how it differs from regular Comic Cons. So it's going to be a great time. Maybe I'll get to be a part of it. So.
well, it's always a hot topic. Well, it's always something we have ongoing discussions here at CAF, and so there's lots of stuff coming, that we're still working through, but plenty of announcements, to come. I mean, there's just so much fun stuff that we have going on. We have, with Kirby Awards now, we're starting to get the auction pieces in. Those are going to start getting posted to the CAF very soon. Proxy bidding for those will start. So there's just a lot of great stuff. More poster reveals coming up. It's like this is the fun time. I mean, still a lot of things to work through, but now that we're at is it really? I mean, I think we said it today. I think we're around the 50-day mark. It's going to happen soon. So yeah. Well, we hope you can make it, but we understand if you can't. And I even saw Carl. Carl said, yeah, they have that. What is it? Comic Pro thing. Yeah, they have that comics. Like a trade show or something that's the same weekend.
Yeah.
Well, that's yeah, it is what it is. So that we'd be down 2 Valiant collectors on the floor. Bart Sears, he's going to be disappointed in you guys if you're both not there. I mean, one yes, 2 no.
Yeah, so not to spoil anything, but Bart's working on something for a project that near and dear, comics curing cancer. So we'll see how that turns out. So yeah, I was hoping to be able to pick something up there in person, but we'll see how that goes.
That's right. And you've worked with those guys. I mean, I totally forget the group that I met at Heroes. I think one of the times I was dropping off art with you, right? So tell everybody a little bit about Comics Curing Cancer, because I know it's not. I don't think I've ever really gotten a press release to share anything about that, but they do have a presence. I think they do an art auction or some kind of a charity auction.
Yeah, they do, and it grows every year. Just wrapped up their channel called Legion of Comics, DJ Links, and Rob's Fat Stack of Comics. Those guys kind of head everything up, and a lot of people, the comic collectors and now art collectors, have been donating stuff. Sometimes artists will donate stuff directly, and all the stuff goes directly to the American Cancer Society or whatever, so that you can get your tax deductions. But yeah, and Matt Spidey's been involved since year one as well. So everybody's pretty much been touched by somebody that's had cancer. And so it sucks either way it goes. And so being able to, share those items that we love and raise money to fight something we hate is it's a great time.
Without question. Yeah. Well, when you guys are doing the next, I guess, drive for donations for it, let me know. I'm sure we
Okay.
can send stuff your way. And Mad Spidey's been involved since year one.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's we should probably start looking at some artwork here. I think you did send 19, 20 pieces or so for us to talk about tonight. But I want to go back with one thing though before we look at the artwork. You said like the first things that you got were sketch covers with in 2021 or so, and you mentioned something that I didn't really. I don't know. I never look at art and think, oh, it's a one of one, right? Because I don't know. I'm collecting art. I don't think about it as a one of one, like something that you would get with a, in comics or a variant, something along those lines. But that was one of the things that intrigued you, right? Was just the idea that with the sketch cover, you're getting a comic book that everybody else has, but it's got a personally drawn cover to it that only you can have, and that was kind of the gateway, right? It's unique from that perspective. And so with that question though, I'm kind of curious, when did you get your, when did that lead you then to get your first piece of published art? Because that's truly a one-on-one as well. But I like the idea that the tipping point there, that you saw it as something unique.
Yeah, so I got my first sketch cover in 2019. One of the first ones I got, same show, I got several at the same show, was from a guy named Alan Bellman, who drew for Timely Comics.
Right.
And so was the interaction that I had with the him. I mean, everybody was passing him up for the Johnny Come Latelys of the comic book industry. Meanwhile, he didn't have anybody at his table. Finished it up. It's posted in my CAF of Hitler and Captain America. And, so that was in November of 2019. And he died in February of 2020. I don't know if it was just happened to coincide with the time that COVID was kind of flaring its head, or if it was a result of that. But as things went on, and I was getting sketch covers, it just like I mentioned earlier, when I went to John Dale's table and was talking with him about the art and stuff, and ended up buying some pages. The internet is great for being able to buy stuff versus back in the day where we had to send off for comics at Mile High, or someplace like that. If you're in rural Mississippi and you don't have a lot of big comic shops available to you, I mean, that's how you had to do it, right? And so the internet's great for now being able to get those things, but it also took away the fun, because half of the fun of the comics is the hunt, right? Well, when you take away that deal, it's like, well, if money's not an issue, you can just go buy it on eBay. Who cares, right? But so the art, yeah, that's it right there. So yeah, so but yeah, so the art added that back to it, right? Was the ability to the thrill of the hunt. And so with the sketch covers, the hunt was just getting somebody to sit down long enough to do a sketch for you. But then when you move to the published pages, the thrill was there's only one of those, and I don't know where it's at. Is it on CAF? Does the artist have it? Does the penciler have it, or an inker have it? Or did somebody, has it been sold multiple times? Has it been destroyed in a fire? I mean, all these, thrill of the hunt type aspects that comics used to have, you still have with art. I mean, even though you can buy stuff online, and certainly that's there. Especially the older stuff that you collect, it's hard to track down sometimes.
No, very true. Well, it's one good thing for with CAF is if you can check to see if it's in anybody else's collection, and if you've got access to market data, you can always dig around and see if it was ever offered for sale before. Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I've done more research, I think, on just seeing if something's been available before. At least for my personal stuff. For work, I'll do market research and stuff. But for me personally, when I'm trying to track down a page, or just to see if something from a particular issue has ever been out there, you're a fan of Rom and Sal Buscema Rom, and that kind of stuff. It's like I've done searches on things like that, just to kind of see how many pages from a particular book have ever surfaced. And then you see trends, like certain pages that have cycled around a few times, but it's all part of at least understanding what when it surfaced, whether it made it to CAF or not. Maybe you find out that Berkey sold it 1 year, 3 years later Albert had it, he sold it, and then it was in Heritage a year ago or something like that. But it's just always good information, even if you can't track down who the current owner is.
Yeah, and it does take a little work as far as pricing, as opposed to say comics, because comics have generally, if it's a 9.8, this is what you're going to pay for it. Versus art's not that way, right? There's just so many variables to it. What's on the page? Who was the inker and the penciler? Was it a big first appearance? All those type of things. But being able to go back and do some of that history through CAF or through Heritage, and find those old prices and start comparing them and doing your homework on it. it's probably just because I'm a nerd that I like that kind of stuff. But that's one of the things that makes it enjoyable.
Oh yeah. Well, that one of the good things about at least the dealer records are sometimes you could pick up the phone and call Perky or something and say, "Do you remember who you sold that page to?" And a lot of times they'll tell you, or maybe if you do a favor for Albert, he might tell you. You never know. But I've done that before a couple times when I've seen something that was out there. Anthony's a little bit easier to talk to about that kind of stuff because he's very open. He'll be like, "Oh yeah, I sold it to Jason back in 2023, at the show," and he'll remember, that kind of stuff. But
Yeah, it's the money point in Anthony's mind that's what sparks that memory, and he's like, "Oh, I'm a lot of money." Or
right,
I lost a lot
exactly.
of money because
I
he
lost.
before
Yeah,
he
I broke even on that one.
I'm like, I don't know
Yes,
how you break even and stay in business as long as you can, as much as you say you break even.
right. Wow, I just saw something said in the chat that I don't think I ever thought I'd see said before, but where is it? No, not that one. It's this one. Peter Rose saying he's missing Marcus in the chat. Marcus must have had something better to do tonight. It is the holiday season, and if you went on CAF, he was posting a lot of comments today. He wrote a couple limericks, and gosh, I forget whose pieces he did that on because I was reading it earlier today. It might have been on, gosh, was it on something from Derek, I think, maybe, or maybe I'm mistaken. Either way, Marcus is here in spirit, Peter. Just remember that, and maybe he'll show up before it's all over. Yeah, you're missing out. I mean, I can't think of a time when we've not had him in the chat.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I first started, as much as he posts to CAF, to Instagram, and everywhere else, I'm like, how does this guy do anything else? Like, he is like Johnny on the spot. He's always the one, and he comes up with these. He does it in the chat too, like these insightful little tidbits, and it's like his mind just works like.
Yeah, I think he employs some I don't know, some kids or something that to help him post as many comments as he does. He's got some secret out there. I have no idea. But yeah, it is remarkable because I do think he has a regular job too. I don't know how anybody could do that and not get sacked from their job. But hey,
Right?
he's managed to do it all these years. Um, anyway, I don't think I missed it. Oh, there you go. Tiago, I had a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of something, anything, is there something that has been elusive for you in the last 3.5 years outside of a Turok One page?
I don't know about elusive. Definitely some stuff that's high up on the want list. Does it happen? I guess when you say elusive, there are a couple of books that I'm kind of sort of trying to put together. Those are always elusive because you'll go through and you'll get like 5 pages in a row, and then it's like dry bones and a desert. You can't find any of them. But yeah, so Exo Manowar. If there was a cover to end all covers for me, I know where the Turok One cover is, and I know what it was. It got sold at OAX last year, and that will never be in the cards for me. But an Exo Manowar 14, Magnus 12, Ride number 9 would be, definitely. Oh, was it one? So was 181 or was it 180 that supposedly burn up in the fire for Herb Trimpe? Yeah, it seems like it was one of those issues that supposedly there's no pages exist of it. But I know Anthony does have a 180 page, or
He has a
did.
180 page, right? Well, yeah. I mean, there's rumors out there
No, okay.
about certain pages from 181 or even the cover. I think I've heard, but you never know because this our the market is fueled by rumors all the time. I haven't seen it, but speaking, when you were at OAX, did you at least get to hold that Turok cover while you were there?
No, I knew he had it. I knew Albert Moore had it, and then after it got bought, I got to talk to the buyer about it, but and so I didn't touch it. But it would have been a surreal moment. We did take pictures because we were Turok bros. because I did get a Turok one that was an homage to that same cover by Bart Sears at OAX as well. So um,
There you go, Dave Kopecki. That's the same thing I've always heard is that the
uh,
eager pages are out there, but Herb's share of the 181 interiors got burned up.
yeah, I mean, wouldn't that be amazing? Like to find in some dusty attic somewhere.
Hey, I think there's a lot of stuff in dusty attics that we we'd love to come across. They're still out there, but the problem with those kind of finds typically, you see those pop up on like eBay seller stores, right? Or those sorts of things, and they happen so quickly, you miss them because who really does a lot of shopping on eBay anymore? I mean, I rarely go over there looking for OA unless something catches my eye, on CAF or something, and that's pretty rare these days. But it's always those guys, the ones that have like a brick and mortar slash eBay sales kind of thing that somebody brings in grandpa's old what dusty stuff, and it turns out they have a $10,000 page that people have been looking for the last 30 years, and yeah, those are the things that I don't know that suck the most because they happen usually learn about it after the sale happens because the few people that know it's there, they ain't gonna tell anybody because they want to keep the competitive circle small.
Right. Yeah, there's still some stuff to be found on eBay, as we'll see tonight. I know at least one of the pages off the top of my head came from eBay. So
There you go, Derek. Free the dusty attic away, please do. All right, well let's look at some artwork then because I know I've got everything queued up here. And I don't know if I kept it in the order you sent. It might have been the reverse order. I can't remember now. I just started loading pages and picking out things and saving files here. But this is a beautiful page to get started with, right? I mean, well, just and this is soul. What issue is it from though? Because I don't think I wrote that down.
yeah, it's from the Solar story that was put in between each issue. They were telling this backstory along the way as they were putting out the news stories. And so this is Barry Windsor Smith, Bob Layton inks, but these are what he referred to as enhanced inks. So I reached out on Barry Windsor's Smith's website because Carl says, "Hey, have you ever thought about reaching out to them? Because this is where I got this cover from." And I'm like, "No, I ain't even thought about that." And so I reached out to them, and they had a few pages. Some the Eternal Warrior pages that they had left, they were keeping for a what do you call it when you put the pages together? When one of them big books. Um,
Artist edition.
there you go. They were looking to do an artist edition with those. But here's a couple of Solar pages. And I'm like, this one was the one that was just so overwhelmingly amazing. And had to, did I wire the money or did I have to send a cashier's check? I can't remember, but it was something a little different. And yeah, the only thing else you could ask for in this one was if he had his costume on, which you don't. But you've got all the typical Solar, lighted effects that surround him, and there at the bottom, with the big, where he inhales it. So I did bring this to OAX last year and got Bob to sign it. And so that's another fun thing that I like to do with my art is I do it with my comics too, but with the art is to show this to the artist, and because it takes them down memory lane generally. And Bob's not usually at a loss for words for anything, so he was super talkative about this experience and working with Barry at Valiant in particular, and so fun stories.
Yeah, Bob is never at a loss for words. I can just I can just turn my mic off when I bring him on sometimes, and that's fine. I love listening to Bob talk, but I mean, yeah, the idea that he got to work with Barry Windsor Smith as much as he did, I mean, that had to have been a thrill for him. And I look at this and it's like he's kind of true to Barry's inking style too. When you look at like the brushwork, in the arms here. I mean, that's just great. I can only imagine how much fun he had doing this stuff.
Yeah, he referred to it as I channel my inner Barry Windsor Smith, and so like when a lot of times when he draws the Valiant characters, in particular Exo, it'll look very Barry Windsor esque. So,
Oh,
but
everybody likes it. And hey, Tatiana. Tatiana's in the chat tonight. Good to see you. But yeah, no, when I see stuff like this, I mean, good art is good art, right? I mean, I think even though I don't know the storyline or the characters really that well, such a beautiful page. And Windsor Smith is one of those artists that, I've actually never owned a published piece from. I've had a few sketches over the years and nothing that I kept, but yeah, you see something like this and it's like, yeah, this would be fine, to have get that example piece from Windsor Smith. Something like this is just so nice.
so were you reading X-Men still when he did those few issues?
Yes, and one of the pieces I had was a prelim to the first one with Mohawk Storm decking Forge,
Oh,
pencils, and I was dumb enough to trade that away. I had it for a couple years, and I wanted something somebody had, and I traded it, and I regret it because that
oh,
was like the coolest thing I thought I could probably ever own from Windsor Smith was something from X-Men, and even
yeah.
though it was just a pencil prelim and it was only one panel, but it was tight. It was so tight, and I'm a fool for for letting that one go. I've never. It's one of the few pieces that I've like never forgotten. That I've always wished I could get back was that because it's irreplaceable. You never see something like that again.
Yeah, but the fun thing about the Alpha Omega, thanks, Dave, reminded me. My mind isn't as good as what it used to be, but in the Alpha Omega, there was a poster, and I mean it's like this huge piece of art. I think it's like the biggest rather piece of comic book art out there, and that came with that just the whole town. Scene. Now that would be a dream piece to have. Of course, I wouldn't have. You'd have to clear off wall space to put it up there.
Well, yeah. Well, congrats on this one. So this was, I mean, a good way to track it down too. It's a good story. You know, let, that's something a lot of people don't think about is like the different avenues you can approach to find artwork that might still be available, whether it's, talking directly to the artist, because, some people get pigeonholed. They can only go to cons and pick up art from artists there, or there's only the reps or the dealers that they know about. That there's lots of other avenues to explore. All right. So, Planet Hulk page.
Yeah. So Planet Hulk or is one of my favorite Hulk storylines. This is these are the next to the last page in this issue, and the last page is him standing on the spaceship as he's heading back towards Earth, which is replayed in the World War Hulk miniseries. So this is the last action, scene as they're getting ready. So Hulk's wife has been killed. He thinks it's because of the Illuminati. So him and those that are warbound, which are some of those that you see him, banging out hammers towards, are getting the weapons ready. And as you can see, he points with the sword, and it's towards Earth because that's where he's going to go take down. Mr. Fantastic, Tony Stark, and the rest of the Illuminati that he blames for the bomb that was planted on the ship. Come to find out, it wasn't the Illuminati that done that. So
I hate to say I never read Planet Hulk, but it's one of the books that I've always wanted to read. The storyline sounded so damn cool.
yeah. This is I've got a prelim by Aaron Lepresti of one of the scenes in Planet Hulk, but this is the only published page I have. I've got a World War Hulk, which is obviously the sequel, where he ends up on Earth, from John Romita Jr. and Klaus Janson. Definitely some fun stuff.
I did read that.
Yeah, the only problem with this page is that the artist, because I've noticed that a lot of the artist's page from these issues were near water or moisture. And I don't know if the scan picks it up or not, but there are a lot of spots on these pages. So I bought this from this was on the next to the last Comic Art Live. And a lot of times I will save artworks that I'm interested in, and then I'll go back and see if they got sold or not. And so after Comic Art Live is over with is generally when I pick up what I pick up there.
No way. You know, you can't get feedback when you do that.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Not that that's important, but so when you say the spots, I mean, I guess I can see them in the scan. Is it?
Yeah.
It's like mold? A little bit of, is that what it's from the water?
Yeah, it's like a little mold or mildew or something like that. You can really see it in person. But like I said, it's all the same artist for that storyline, and almost every page I've seen like that, it's like that.
That's too bad. Well, I mean, what are you going to do, right? I mean, you can always get it. The only thing you have to ever worry about is if you see it spread, then you want to take it somewhere. And I think the mold is like one of the easiest things for a conservator, restorer to fix. It's probably one of the cheapest things that get done too. But they can clean it up and make it so it won't spread anymore.
Yeah, yeah. So so that's how I got this one. I just reached out to the seller, and we were able to make a deal right after Comic Art Live had ended.
Cool.
And to his credit, he did tell me, "Hey, the only thing I'm going to tell you with these pages are this," and so he mentioned it. So it wasn't like he didn't hide it from me or nothing. So
the NSN thinks you're trying to skew the Cal numbers by not getting the sale done during the show.
They're all large enough.
Right. I mean, trust me. I mean, this is, I do it too. But the thing is, because I save a lot of artwork, I tend to not have enough time to go back and communicate with the sellers, even on Sunday night. Right? When I try, but I don't always. And I've gone back after the show and reached out on a couple pieces. Usually they're already gone, but now I know it's you picking them up.
Well, no Werner Roth pages are in my CAF gallery, so I'm pretty safe. But no, seriously, a lot, to me, like usually there are pages like, okay, as soon as I see it, I gotta snap them up. Like there's no question. Like this has got to be in my collection. And there's other ones like I'd really, really like for it to be that way. And so for those, generally for Comic Art Live, I'm going to have like one big one I want to go after. So then you start looking at everything, going, okay, which one do I want the most, right? You have to start adulting, so to speak.
Yeah, you have to start thinking like the other collectors that are out there. Which piece is the one that is most likely to have somebody else be that interested in it, and you kind of have to like, I know it's the strategy. It's tough when you have all those pieces to go through, and now you have more keywords to make it even more difficult.
And I have used them in the app, so
yeah, no, yeah, same here. So you get want list alerts every day.
Every day.
Good.
Especially because my collecting is so eclectic, across so many. Since I got so many keywords, I get them every day. Adulting versus addiction. I know it's tough, Peter. Right? It's tough.
I was gonna highlight that one. Yeah.
Because Peter was on a show a few weeks ago, and he said, I've taken like hiatuses on buying art, like as long as like a year, and I'm like, I start shaking for him. I'm like, I can't imagine.
Well, if he took, I don't know when his last hiatus was for a year, but he's been on a roll. It's like seemingly like at least every other day he's posting another, impeccable war page from from all eras. It's like I don't know how he's coming up with so many of these pages, because it's not like I'm seeing him pop up on Heritage. He's just got his finger on the on the war artwork market for sure.
Well, and he anytime I've met him in person, he's just like this very calm, chill guy. And when he was opening and unboxing some of this art, like he was just like, it was like a kid in the candy store going up to pull the new comic fresh off the rack. Like he was just so excited about it, which makes you excited for him too, right? Like even if it's
Mhm.
not your thing, you're just like, man, he's so excited. I got to get excited too.
Well, it's but one of the things I love about, this community, I mean, art collecting's fun, it does. I mean, I come on, every time we do anybody does an unboxing, it's an exciting moment, right? I mean, the first time you're getting to see something that you only got to see a scan of, finally
Right.
getting to hell yeah. I mean, I don't care what it is. It could be, my Dennis Kitchen, Hillary Barta, $70 grab on Heritage I had, 4 or 5 months ago. I'm still excited to open that up and get it in my hands for the first time.
Well, you
Oh,
mentioned
man.
Hillary Potter. I thought you were fixing to segue into a show that you got upcoming. So
Well, I do have a show with him on Saturday, and I did get to see the artwork today finally that he's bringing, but no, I wasn't thinking like that at all. I was just trying to think of the most obscure the cheapest thing I bought in this, not a commission or a sketch card or anything like that. The literal, the cheapest piece of art I bought this year was, something off of Heritage, which I only think I've done 2 times now, but it was that. It was like I put like a $75 bid on this weird little sketch where they both drew a character on it, and fortunately, nobody else was interested in it but me.
well, and Tom mentioned in the chat, Stingray just dropped a video, and it seems like you knocked it out of the park with the Secret Santa thing, Bill.
Yeah, I was very, it's like when you know something's right, you got to go for it. And it's like he had been asking about stuff from Brian, for, I think since the show before, so I knew like 7 or 8 months out that was out there. And I didn't think Brian would send it. But I just said, "Hey, do you got any of these pages?" And the package arrives, and he put every single page in it that Newell wanted. So, like, as soon as I opened it, I thought, "Oh, well, I guess this is good. This makes my Christmas, come on, Christmas gift buying is tough usually, right?
Mm.
So when something like that lands in your lap, you gotta, okay, this is too easy, too good to be true, and it was perfect.
Yeah, yeah, it worked out
I'm an
great.
impeccable gifter. Not always, but sometimes I get it right. I did buy a gift for one of my daughters, and, apparently it's not gonna be in for 45 days after Christmas.
Would you buy
So,
it from Hulu or something?
no, it's like I saw this thing on Facebook, and I've been seeing it for a freaking year. I mean, it's the dumbest thing. I mean, come on, it's for my daughter, so it's not like something I'm interested in. And I kept seeing it, and I kept seeing it, and I'm like, and it was like the 1st of December. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna buy it. 'Cause I mean, how can you advertise something for a year, and then you buy it more than 3 weeks out from Christmas, and it's gonna take 2 months in total from the day I purchased it to have it actually arrive. It sucks. That's just terrible. I I should contact Facebook and get them to not, show any more ads.
There you go. Oh, and Diego's giving you some branding and some ideas for fundraising there
Gift
with
cards.
cat bucks.
That's, yeah, that's
You could
interesting.
use them during Comic Art Live, right? Because if they use the checkout process.
That's true. CAF bucks, huh? Well, yeah, I mean, hey, you never know. You never know. That's not a bad idea. We've had people definitely, gift, premium memberships
Mhm.
before. I mean, that's actually kinda common. Usually, I think at least 15, gifted premium memberships happen every year, because usually you got that one friend who keeps posting the small scans. You're
Uh,
like, I want
Stop.
that guy to have bigger images, so I don't care. I'll pay the $75 to get them to start uploading better scans.
Well, and,
That's
and it's a killer too, because like I've seen people with these small scans, and it'll be like this like amazing piece, and I'm like, really? Like you can't afford this, and you bought this? I mean, come on,
right. Yep.
guys.
I
Yeah, it's
know it drives me crazy too. And when Snork and I are trying to pick artwork, I pass up some of the smaller pieces. It's like, oh man, that's such a good piece, but it's just not going to look as good. And then sometimes you just can't. But anyway, we've been looking at this artwork for a while now.
yeah.
It
So
looks familiar to me.
this is a first splash page from Exo Manowar #2. I picked this up at Heritage, I believe, last year.
Hmm.
And so, kind of the story, some of the story along with this, this is one of the ones I took to OAX with me last year to get Bob to sign. Sal had already previously signed it, and so Bob lifted up the stat, And so under the stat is the pencil of the way the spider alien was originally supposed to look. And so it was more furry in nature than this metallic, which is more akin to what Exo's armor was. But this is Exo 2, so they're still kind of fleshing things out, how they want it to look and everything. But Bob was talking about the process of how that changed and everything, which was great. Actually, on this post on my CAF page, there's a picture that Newell took behind me and while Bob was doing this and talking to me about it. Additionally fun was that I met Sal again at a con, and I got to talk to him about owning this page. And he said, well, you know what the backdrop is? That's my house when I lived in Midvale. And so he just drew his backyard. He said, that tricycle is my kid's tricycle. And so that was
so the kid pool is his kid's pool.
Yeah. And and then I posted this on valiantfans.com, and the guy that owns the prelim to this reached out to me. And so I actually posted the prelim and said it's not mine, but just wanted to share with everybody else that goes and looks at this on my CAF page. So kind of the whole full circle moment of the art itself.
Cool. I was actually just going through. Newell uploaded all of his photos from last year, so I imagine it's in this. I'm just trying to find it. I was hoping I might find the image of you having that conversation, but I don't see
Yeah,
it.
it's on the post of this page if that's quicker. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I could probably do it that way. But I'm halfway through scrolling through this list now. He took a lot of photographs at OAX last year. Yeah, I'll never find it going this route. Oh, shoot. All right, but I don't have your. I gotta go over here to your gallery and find it now.
Yeah, go down to the Exo Manowar VH1, and then they're in order. So by issue. So
all right, there we go. Oh, it's a huge. All right, let's see. Sorry, gotta get it down over here. There we go. Now I can add it.
Yep.
Peeling it back.
Yep. Yeah. So there's pencils and the ink. Some of the inks are on behind that stat. Recently on the TLDR that we did with Kevin Van Hook, he was talking about. He goes, really, I'm one of the ones to blame for the horrible glue stains because he was told that they needed to use archival glue, and he's like, yeah, who cares about this stuff? And so, little did he know. But yeah, so a lot of the older Valiant stuff, I know at least on one other page we'll see tonight, you'll notice that the horrible glue stains.
Well, I mean, I want to go back to this piece here. I gotta hide that one now. Oh, okay. Now I can add it back. Okay. So that's like bled through the overlay, right? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's the glue stains that plague the Valiant. Mostly, you see, you obviously see it on the stats, but mostly you see it in the word balloons.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, I'm not used to seeing it actually bleeding through, that layer. Typically you'll see it when the word balloons are missing or stats missing, stuff like that.
Oh, it's horrendous on some. Like you just got to imagine back then when they done it, they were just sitting there just all over the page, right? Like,
archival? What are we? Yeah, I'm sure that was the last thing on their minds at the time. But that's awesome.
All right.
Batman.
Yeah, Batman 2. So Greg Capullo, Jonathan Glapion, Scott Snyder was writing it. The run on the Court of Owls had got me in. I had been out of reading comics. I still went back into collecting anything, but somebody suggested that I read the Court of Owls as they had relaunched with the New 52. And so, this introduces the Court of Owls, and the second issue, this issue right here, is where the Talon, this first appearance of the Talon. This is the second page the Talon's on. The other one is he walks out, and it's like if I remember correctly, it's like a half-page splash of him just standing there. So this is the first fight, the second page of the first appearance issue. And so I had found this on a particular dealer's website, and it was way too expensive, and they wouldn't budge on the price. And I don't know if they were consigning it or what the deal was, but it ended up on Comic Link. And typically, I don't bid like my top bid. Maybe I should, but I don't bid my top bid. I just kind of bid so I can watch it when it gets closer to time. On this one, I just went ahead and put all cards on the table. I bid the max I was going to bid on this thing, and nobody outbid me. How does that work? So, and I paid $1,000 less.
Anywhere near what it was listed for? No.
Yeah, I paid $1,000 less for it than what the dealer wanted for it.
Well, that's that. Then congrats. That doesn't it doesn't always happen that way, but like this, that's a good price because these aren't cheap. Anything coming out of Capullo's website, I mean, he sets the market and he usually gets what he wants. That's the thing. He's done pretty well doing his own sales, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, it's good when you're in that place where you ain't got to sell nothing. So people just, if they want it, they go and pay your price. And so for whatever reason, so I have both the pencils and the inks page. So for the new 50 for this, they did separate pencils and ink pages. So I have both of them. Both of them came as a set, and they're framed in my office together. So yeah, and I was talking with Carl when I was looking at this page. I'm like, hey, what do you think it's going to go for? Because he already had some Capullo Batman art in his collection. So I wanted to add some to mine. So this is the one I got.
Oh, that's a good score. Did was Carl's guess accurate?
I'm trying to remember what he said. He said, I think it was to the effect of, this is about what they go for. And so, it worked out great. No, Tom, it hasn't been all Valiant. I show a DC page, the one, I think, DC page of the night.
We're looking at it right now. We looked at the Hawk page earlier too. So, we're moving around. I think we're half and half right now, but we'll see what the fifth piece brings us, because it's going to make it go one way or the other. Well, Bloodshot. It's okay. Back
to Valiant. And so you could see what I was talking about here on this page with the bleed through on the word bubbles. But I really love I miss word bubbles or balloons, whatever they want to call them, but on the pages, because it just kind of tells the story while you're looking at it. But this is an origin story. This was a one shot. And the reason why I picked it to talk about tonight was it was Mike Zeck. And so, this is the only, I think, Mike Zeck, it might have been one other, but he didn't do a lot, but he did do this issue. So when I bought this page from a fellow Valiant collector who has an awesome collection, and I have mentioned, please put your stuff on CAF for everybody to enjoy. I mean, he's got an amazing collection. But I put out there on the Valiant fans website that I was looking for any Valiant art, and he said, yeah, I'm looking to get rid of a few pages, and he sold them to me extremely below what market is today for these things. But yeah, I mean, he probably what he paid for them, which was great, but it was already signed by Zeck at that time, and I later got DeCarlo to sign it, who is the one that inked it.
No, not bad. I've actually never owned a published page by Zeck either, or an unpublished piece either. At this point, I'd take either one, right?
Yeah.
No, this is great. What, and Mike DeCarlo, yeah, inked it. Yeah, very well done on for him.
Yeah, I've got another page from this issue now, but it's not signed by Zeck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that the bleed through on the glue is awful. I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, even ones that don't. I mean, older word balloons still, you still see that they usually change color before the the actual board itself. So, I mean, I can't think of any older page from this era where it hasn't. But yeah. Oh well. Hey, at least Bob remembered doing it.
All right, so
X-Men.
yeah, so this is Ultimate X-Men Annual #1. Stuart Eminem did the pencils here. And so this is one of those issues that I've been just kind of loosely collecting. Like if I see a page, I'll pick it up. And so randomly, I go on Google's and type in Ultimate X-Men Annual #1. This page shows up in Australian eBay. So
At auction or like a buy it now price?
it was buy it now. And so the problem was the seller didn't want to ship to the U.S. So it pays to know people in Australia.
Yeah.
You saw Matt Spidey in the chat earlier. I reached out to him and said, "Hey, could you help me out with this?" So I had the seller ship it to him, and then he shipped it to me. So yeah, so the cover, like I said, randomly, how in the world it ended up in Australia of all places, but and certainly didn't think I'd find it there on Australia eBay.
Right. Well, there are a lot of Australian art collectors. I've had a ship. Well, I'll bet you I've. Well, I can't say that, but I've shipped quite a bit of art to Australia in the last 3 years, and it's the most expensive place to ship artwork to.
It
I
wasn't it
hate to
wasn't
say
too
it.
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, everything I ship down there, it's like $5 more to any place in Europe. It doesn't matter. It could be $10 more. It's always more.
Yeah,
But
yeah. So, and I didn't even realize on this issue that Stuart Eminem had done the cover, um, because Tom Rainey had done the interior. Scott Hanna inked them, and so I have a bunch of pages from the interior already that I've gotten them signed. Well, I just thought that he had done the cover because that's what my CLZ app, which keeps up with my comics,
mhm.
that's what it said, but it was wrong. Stuart Eminem done the cover, so. But so yep, and so yep, picked it up. So now I have the cover and 7 or 8 pages from that issue.
That's cool. Yeah, I can tell you, I've discovered more art sales sites that I didn't know about. Typically with artists by going to Google first. I'll search on CAF, for something, and then I'll hop over to Google, and I'm surprised sometimes, where I'll be like, oh, I didn't even know that artist had their own website, let alone the fact that they're selling OA through it. So yeah, that's a good thing. Don't rule Google out when you're on a mission, because they are good like that. I mean, they will show. I mean, I think they even show like Etsy results and stuff. So you never know what you're going to find when you're doing a Google search. But hey,
Yeah, you talking about Etsy. I've got he's an inker, Jeremy Clark. I've got a cover from him over there on the wall, turtle cover, but he has an Etsy store. Like
hmm
I'm like, and I noticed that he just started posting his covers sold or not on CAF. I mean, he was saying he's marked them for sold, but he was just kind of showing his work, I guess. But
hmm
the great story about this and the story and several pages are on CAF owned by other people, but the scene where Gambit dies in the X-Men animated series. Have you seen that, Bill?
I have.
Okay. So the scene where she's holding him in the crater,
hmm
that's in this book. So it's just like they took inspiration from the storyline because he ends up dying in the story. So spoiler alert.
For those of you who haven't seen it, we're sorry. Hey, Rich Thrill is in the chat. Well, Happy New Year, Rich. If we don't see you before then, we don't have a show tomorrow night either. Taking another Wednesday night off, which is good. It's New Year's Eve. I'm looking forward to 2026. Let's see here. So I think we're are we skewed now? I mean, I guess or are we still even 3-3? You had some intent here. It feels like, Jason.
Well, I did want to kind of spread the love around a little bit, kind of reach out to everybody, but show how eclectic my stuff is. But this is from Transformers, Jorge Corona on the art. And so Carl's collection, or PG-13 Carl, as he's affectionately known as, is part of this too, because I was seeing him getting some of these pages, and he's like, "Hey, just reach out to his art rep, Annabelle, and blah 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 blah," which is another story in itself. But neat. But yeah, so this is one that I got the scraps of, because Carl gets all the big stuff. He just left me some scraps. But this is the first appearance page as Cliff Jumper is trapped on Cybertron. This introduces all these characters like Blur, who was introduced in the Transformer movie. So this is the first appearance. And if you remember Blur from the Transformer movie, he was voiced by the guy that did the Micro Machines commercials, right?
Yep.
And so he would talk real fast. And so this is the first appearance of him and several other people. Yeah. But yeah, so I was able to pick this one up and several other ones while he was drawing the book. It was kind of the shock of when they, because it's very hard when you take a childhood property like this and not only speak to those people that want the nostalgia, but also have a story that is true to form, but also tells new stories. It's hard, and a lot of people don't get it right. I feel like Daniel Warren Johnson and the Energon universe are getting it right with G.I. Joe, because I'm reading G.I. Joe, and I had some of the toys as a kid, but I never really read the comics. I did the Transformers, but I mean, to take that and go, okay, I mean, as an adult, I can still enjoy this. I don't.
Sure.
So that they've done a really good job over there. And the other thing that kind of torpedoes good runs are when they change artists, and there's like this huge contrast between the artist type, right? Not to say one was better than the other, but there's just way different, styles, right? Whereas when Daniel Warren Johnson handed off the artist duties to Jorge Corona, they have a very similar aesthetic. And so they were able to, and plus him writing a book helped also. But
right. I think Corona's artwork is amazing. I mean, I really like it a lot. And you're right, as far as the transition from DWJ to Corona, artistically, I mean, they're clearly not the same, but there's enough carryover that that it worked really, really, really well. I mean, I love this last panel, just everything in silhouette, and I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, I love this page. And a rep by Kirby's, is that correct?
Yeah.
I actually, the only time I bought something from Kirby's was during Comic Art Live. I bought a piece off of her during that. I've never bought anything from her site directly.
Well, if you try to like one-off emails is one thing, because you can wait because of the time distance or whatever. But when you're trying to carry on a conversation, it makes it a little difficult because you're trying to have it when it's good for her to get it. And yeah, so I will say that she tries to get much more, and she's not negotiable on at least Jorge stuff, because I've tried to negotiate on some stuff for there. So I guess that's good for them, not so good for me.
Not for the collectors, right? But they, I mean, that's the rep's job.
Yeah.
To make as much as they can. Anyway, no, this is a great page, and I know that Carl's picked up a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't want to mess up too much here, but I have a thing over here. You can see up there is the Transformer stage with the giant Andrew Wildman print. But yeah, so I've got my Blur and Ultra Magnus and Optimus and all that kind of good stuff.
Good to see your shoe rack and your
yeah.
There's no comics in there.
The man. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
And here I thought those weren't curtains. I thought they were like your hiding doorways. But now we know that those are actually those are windows.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This
All right,
is when I married my daughter off. I took over this room too. So this is the comic room. So I have some of my comic art hung up in here, and all my comics, and then some comic art in my office.
it looks like a decent sized room to have as your space. Now, Ian Churchill, I'm a fan of Ian Churchill, right? He was showing this to me to remind me that I don't have enough Ian Churchill artwork in my collection.
I don't either. I don't either. When he took over the reins of cable, was like my prime time, reading, during Onslaught and all the crossovers back in the day. And then this was just such a great piece with him and Storm sitting there talking, and just beautifully rendered, as it were. But yeah, I need some more cable in my life. But again, it's like I was saying earlier, there's so many people vying for the same stuff that it drives the prices up. So then you got to make, real world choices, which you want to go hard in the paint for.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean he has a site I think and sells his artwork there, but he doesn't. He's not. It's not cheap. I mean, it's not Capullo level value, but a lot of the stuff I want that's there is a little bit more than I want to spend on it. But
Yeah, he's
I have
not
to
too
tell you,
bad.
just seeing this, I just hopped over to CAF. I'm like, what's available right now?
So when you say Ian Churchill, would it be cable or would it be something else would it be Hulk?
uh,
What would
I
it
like the Hulk, and I like when he did his short run on the X-Men too. I mean,
okay.
I have a page from that. Uh, I've got a few other things by him, but you can always have more.
Yeah,
I,
he did an annual for Uncanny X-Men with Caliban in it. Hilary Barta actually inked it. Um, so I didn't know if that was something that was going to
so
wind up.
I should be reaching out to Hillary and saying, hey, you got any of that? He sent me. What did he send me today? A page, a scan of a page from like X Factor 50. He did like the backstory in there. It had Apocalypse and Loki on it, which I thought was kind of cool. I had no idea. You never know what an inker would have ever worked on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he sent me that and a couple other weird things from MCP. Um, but yeah, I have a page from the Coven or Coven, whatever
Okay.
Coven, the
Yeah.
Coven. Yes, I always liked that. His artwork on that book was cool. I mean, I wasn't I didn't love the story as much as I loved looking at his artwork though. But still, it's one of the things I always wanted to get. But yeah, I have a page from Uncanny X-Men. I don't know, 390 or something like that. Just one of his
Yeah.
earlier pages. But yeah, there you go. This is a great page. And I remember when Spencer Beck had all of his stuff on the Artist Choice website, and like the Hulk covers were $500.
I remember
And
when the first time I collected, and I went to found Spencer's website, and I was just
uh,
like drooling, looking at what was available there and the prices, and then of course I found out quickly that it was not updated. So
yeah, no. But back in the day, I mean, when I was looking at them, it would have been like around 2000, right, or
oh, okay,
2001, that time period. So they were there, and I skipped over them all. I was like, no. It's beautiful, but yeah, I don't even know what I was buying. I think I was more of a commission guy at that time, so I just didn't think too much about it. But you see stuff like this, and it's like, man, I love this era of his work. So that's a that's a great piece. And look, we're still staying out of the Valiant universe here.
yeah.
Sabretooth page.
Yeah, so this is from the Sabretooth one shot called Red Zone. So that the X-Men in the 90s were clicking on all 8 cylinders, right? I mean, they could do no wrong. I mean, they were selling bukus of books. I mean, you just slap X-Men on anything and it sold.
Hmm.
Kicking back to the Valiant, Bob Layton, when we interviewed him for TLDR for Valiant, he mentioned the reason why it was not Man-O-War, but it was XO Man-O-War, was so that it got right over there by all the X-Men titles that were being picked up, so that people would more likely to see it. I mean, they couldn't do any wrong. So anyway, so Sabretooth, Age of Apocalypse happens. Wolverine had popped the claw and through his skull. He's acting like he's all innocent and everything. Well, we knew that was going to come to an end. Well, so it came to an end in Uncanny X-Men. Joe Mad was drawing Uncanny X-Men at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had this one shot because they were going to take Sabretooth and make him a part of X Factor. So the original X-Men team up to take him down because he's escaped after gutting Psylocke. He's escaped. So this is one of those books. What's that?
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Okay. This is one of those books that I've collected a bunch of pages from. So when this went up on Albert Moy's website, I was able to quickly snag it thanks to CAF alerts. But yeah, Gary Frank, I actually think Gary Frank has continued to evolve in a positive way as an artist. So this is kind of that era that he was like when he was doing the Hulk after Dale Keown, in that part of the 90s. But it's still great. I mean, you see the wings, the pieces of the wing flying straight at you as Sabretooth, trashed it. This would be one of the great ones that if it had word bubbles on it to tell the story. But it's a very fun book, and Michael Golden actually did the cover, oddly enough. But it was one of those chromium covers.
Mm. Yeah, it's a cool page, and I'll be sure to ship you some CAF bucks for all these mentions about the the keywords and what we now call Art Scout, right? I mean, that's I appreciate it. Yeah, there'll be a whole bucket full of CAF bucks.
Well, when they get activated, yeah, let me know.
That's right. You do have to there's an activation method on it. But no, this is cool. I love Frank's work too. I always have. So detail oriented. I mean, I just I've got a few commission style pieces from him, nothing published, but yeah, he's amazing. He's absolutely amazing.
Well, and if you're an X-Men fan, you were following the storylines at this point. This is a turning point because this is when Archangel gets his feather wings back.
Mm.
So in the pages of Uncanny X-Men, and so right there where he's licking his blood, it's a callback to two fights. They had a fight in X Factor 50, I believe it was, where they gutted each other on top of a snowy building, and then going all the way back to the Mutant Massacre, right? Because Sabretooth was part of all that group when Angel lost his wings in the first place. And he mentions he calls Archangel a hypocrite because he's like, this blood isn't even real, but then we get the wings back. So it was a fun time to be reading X-Men for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, I like this page. There you go, Derek. It's playing into the CAF bucks tonight. Shape of market data. And I do remember the Toys R Us dollars. Newell. I had kids. We did a lot of shopping at Toys R Us back in the day.
For sure.
Here we go. Ram. Sal Buscema. Early Rogue appearance.
Yeah, so this is I think the third appearance of Rogue. Depending on if you count, there's a issue or two that the Dazzler appearance that she makes in Dazzler. It's kind of tied. One of those things where the book came out at the same time Rom was coming out, but she's still basically a villain over there. The Rom was the turning point for the character of Rogue because she kisses Rom and then she starts doubting why she's doing the bad stuff she's doing with Mystique and Destiny and the rest of them. So this is right after that, and he's leaping into battle against the Wraith, the Dire Wraith, and that's when she's doubting, like, wait a minute, why he's going in, he's the hero. Why are we fighting against him? And several pages from this issue and the other issue have hit Heritage recently, and so I was fortunate enough that I guess not enough people were willing to go to the mat on this one. But Senate's inks on this just lead a lot. So really like Sal Buscema on Rom. Well, Rom, Spectacular Spider-Man, and then of course Incredible Hulk.
Oh, yeah, you have to go there too. Yeah, I have a page from this issue as well.
Oh, okay.
And the crazy thing is Berkey used when I first, God only knows, it was during the bin dive times, right? Early on, he had like 8 pages in this book, and they were all priced fairly reasonable. He even had the title page from it, which didn't have Rom on or anything like that. But I mean, he had 8 pages from the book, and I only picked up the one. But yeah, all of them were so good. I mean, this is great. I mean, just the storm around them, it just makes the page feel complete. Just ties everything together.
Yeah, and because the word balloons are on here, you can see that the Dire Wraith had some not so innocent plans with Rogue, talking about what he was going to do with her, and so it's on this page. So that's fun too. Um,
Yeah, no, this is great. Yeah, the page where she kisses Rom was there, and I passed
okay.
that would have been a good one to get. But I'm happy with the one I got. But that
Is
was
it
a
on your CAF page?
the one I have. Yeah, yeah, I can
Okay.
show you the one. Let's see, how can I share it? I'd have to like do it differently. I can put it in the chat. Everybody can see it that way versus me trying to. But but yeah, that was such a fun story though too. I remember when I got it because I was buying Rom from the beginning. You know, it's just
Okay.
such a fun read. Yeah,
Well,
but the
then
mix
you know,
is good.
and Bill Mantlo was writing this. I mean, you know, definitely a writer rather, that was taken in sad circumstance. But
Hmm.
well, I mean, I say taken from writing comic books. He's still alive, but
Yeah.
you know,
Wow. I still like this page. So it's really good. And you're right. Senate sinks make such a difference for anybody. But wow. And I know number one Marvel fan is a big fan of these as
yeah,
well. All right, here it is. So you got your photograph with this piece and the actual, right?
yeah. So this is the when Dynamite launched the Gold Key characters. Um, they asked Bart back to do an homage of the first one. So
Hmm.
it was kind of fitting. And so it was a show one night, and it might have been the art show. Maybe it was a preview to OAX, and Bart mentioned still having this cover. And so before the show
Oh,
was over with, I reached out to him and said, "Hey, how much you want for it?" And so they answered back, and it wasn't a agreeable price. I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I think I'll pass." So it was laying out for on his table, like the page, the portfolio was turned to this page. And I said, "Oh, you still got it?" And I said, "How much were you asking for it again?" And it was a much more agreeable price. I said, "Done." I didn't even haggle with him. I said, "Done," and picked it up. And so what's Dave does the Dave Avengers
yeah.
YouTube page. He said that, man, I was going to come back around and get that too, and you picked it up before I did. So
Hey, if it's back to you gotta analyze the competition in the room
yep.
and make your decisions. It's yeah. I mean, but that's the great thing, with thanks to CAF and everything, you sort of know like what people's what their interests may be, and so yeah, you gotta pull the trigger. Well, that's good. So you were there early. Was Bart one of your early stops at the show?
Oh yeah, for sure. And Bart, well, going back to posting stuff, so you know what's where. What's fun is when people start knowing what you collect, and they reach out to you about it, about something they see. They say, "Hey, I don't know if you saw this or not, but I was going to let you know this is available or this was available." And so I've gotten random texts from numbers I didn't recognize. And then I had to do some digging to realize who it was, and but then realize but they were suggesting like Valiant art that they had seen somewhere or whatever like
Mhm.
that. So, but it's always fun when people are on
Carl has your number. Is that
well, yeah, Carl does have my number, but no, this was Andre.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, there you go, Andre. See, that's the thing. You make some friends. You never know where, where a lead's going to come from.
yeah. Because we were I, and Carl were on a group text back at OAX when that Jimmy Palmiotti Solar cover went up for sale,
Yep.
and we were like, okay, how much are you going to go for it? Okay, I'm not going to go past this, and so I ended up with it. But so yeah, fun stuff.
All right. Adam Kubert.
So again, for everybody in the chat, I had to put a lot of X-Men in here for Bill to even invite me on. I mean,
It was a requirement.
no Werner Roth, but Adam will do, right?
Mhm. Oh yeah.
So this is one of those issues that it wasn't a great story, and typically I'm a story collector, but it was just like this moment in the book was so great. I found this on Facebook, somebody randomly selling it, and then found out he was actually on CAF. But in this scene, there've been some animosity between the X-Men and the Avengers. Havoc had kind of joined the Avengers. And so here they are coming together in classic X-Men form. They got the jabs. This is one of the reasons again why the words would be great on the cover, but on the page. But they're making these vocal jabs towards Ahab as they're all having their turn at beating him up, and then Cyclops makes the point of, hey, you actually came, and they said, well, of course we came, because this ain't work, this is family. So,
Mhm.
and X-Men has always been a big family book to me. Despite everybody's different backgrounds, they had, one thing in common, in that case being a mutant. And so here they are, just again, classic show up at the right time, trading jab, get a shot at Ahab, and then the whole family comment. And so also, yes, because I didn't know that Adam Kubert had done any Blue Line stuff. So this is or if on his process. So I actually reached out to Wolvie Fan to reach out to Adam to see if he would say, say this is legit or not. And so when he was at OAX, I got to talking to him about that, and he says, well, everybody talked about these blue lines and not blue lines and all that kind of stuff. He said, to me, it's just part of the process. When the same artist is doing it, it's just part of the process. Just like he said, my dad used to, cut pages up and paste a page where there was a hole there.
Mhm.
It's all part of the process. And and I said I can kind of get where he's coming from on that. It's kind of the story behind it all, right?
But was this inked from, digitally and colored digitally? Is that because I know a
Yeah,
lot of stuff during maybe around this era were were digitally colored and inked from his pencil, so there are no inks.
yeah. That's how this one was. Adam said it had to be done it because there's not a separate board for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's great. I love Adam's pencils, and he's right. I mean, we have to kind of adjust as time goes on with what what is art, right? I mean, there's there can be digital underline stuff. It could be blue lines but if it is what it is. It's only going to keep changing, and there's only so much vintage art to go around. So if you want to stay a purist, it's going to be tough. It
Sure.
really will be. But no, to me, this is all pencils. It's beautiful.
Another all pencils page.
I'm gonna say you
Uh,
really did stay, yeah, away from Valiant. Okay.
Another X-Men page.
Yep.
And so this is Mike Choi. And so a couple years ago, I got him to sign this. I got this and the last page of this issue, which came the second print cover, um, in a deal on eBay. And this is just, you know, when the Second Coming storyline, Hope has been brought back to the future, back to the past, I guess technically, because they've been hopping around the times. And you know they're facing off Bastion, and this is the moment where she shows the Phoenix Force. And so you see Wolverine up at the top. You know, he's just mesmerized, and you know X-23 and Colossus are banging away at some Sentinels. And then when Cyclops looks at her eyes and he sees the flaming fire, of course, you know, at this point in the story, Jean's dead, right? So, um, you know, he was with Emma Frost at this point. So and so Wolverine tells her to stay behind because she can't do anything. So it's kind of like, yeah, I know, because I'm never going to measure up to Jean, right?
Mm-hmm. That's a great page. I like Mike's artwork. I've never owned anything by him, but I love his work. Yeah, no, that's a really good one. There's no more X-Men though, right? I mean, I don't think I put a quota on you.
I can't remember how many pages I got. They're not in the order I sent them.
No, no, it's not. I think I went the opposite. I knew I did it one. I thought I did it wrong, but here you go. No X-Men, no Valiant.
How about Star Wars?
Yeah.
So if you're a Star Wars fan, at least in my opinion, over the last few years has been much of a drought. When Marvel got the titles back, I mean, some of it was okay, but it wasn't to me like the Dark Horse stuff was, where a lot of it was world building into the extended universe and all that kind of stuff. And the new movies were meh. So Rebels was kind of that thing where you could build out a new character, and to me, they did it with Ahsoka Tano. So this is a scene was done in a scene of Rebels where her and Vader fight. And so there was an artist, the artist Frank Adair, I think is how you say it, on Instagram, and I noticed he had been doing a lot of Star Wars stuff. And I said, "Hey, can you do this fight? You know, this is a sketch cover folded out because both the front and the back were sketchable." And I said, "I want you to do this scene right here, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do with it. And I'm going to get the voice actors to sign it." And so he's like, "Oh man, awesome! You know, let me know when you get it done." So I went and met them at a con and got them to sign. So this is what she says: "I'm not going to leave you this time," because you know she left to go with the clones, and of course Vader fell to the dark side. So in a way, you feel
Mhm.
like she, you know, it was her fault. You know, like if she had been there, could things have been different? But you know, in the scene, you know, she says that, and then he says he's got the mask broke, and you see his eye, and you're wondering, okay, is he going to go back light or not? He says, no, then you'll die, and so that's why they put those sayings there.
I love the lighting on it. That came out really great. But that's fun. That's really fun. So you still get sketch covers?
Now, rarely, most of the time I do a sketch is in my, it was mentioned earlier in the book of Geomancer that I have,
Hmm.
and that's all Valiant stuff that I'll do that. But um, hold on a second.
Sure. Hey, Charles Holbert's in the chat. Hey, Charles.
So if anybody watches my videos, it's not uncommon for kids to show up, you know, since I have a bunch of them.
Interruptions. You can't lock the door. There's nothing. That's all right.
But anyway, so no, so on the sketch covers, I've got a whole box of sketch covers blanks that I bought, and when I was really doing that hard and heavy. But yeah, commissions that I've gotten more recently are all in the sketchbook, the
Hmm.
Valiant sketchbook. So I've had this one for I guess a couple of years now.
Cool. Oh, modern Hulk artwork here. I mean, there were quite a few DPSs that have come out of that series, and they all kick ass in
Oh
so many
yeah,
ways. This is beautiful. This is really nice.
yeah.
Wow.
So we all know how Felix's art drops go, right? Like if you
Oh
don't
yeah.
have super high speed internet, like you're going to be left behind. And so there is a page where he does a very similar transformation in issue 2. I think it's issue 2. I got the page before that. So like if you can't get a transformation page for Hulk, you want to see that where the eyes turn green, because if you remember the
Mhm.
Hulk TV show, that you knew that the crap was about to hit the fan, right? And so so that's kind of the next best thing. So I ended up having to get that for that. It's a DPS, but it's still right before he transforms. So when it came to this issue, I was lucky enough I was able to pick this one up, and I just really like when they went to from Immortal Hulk. One of the things that they did great over there was making this really good horror vibe for Hulk, and Nick Klein and Philip Kennedy Johnson, who writes this series, has really kept up with that. So you could see that in the transformations. I mean, the Banner skin falling off of his face.
Right. Pretty gruesome.
Yeah. And then, Brother Voodoo, is trying to hold him down, and he just like pimp slaps him, Psh, give me that.
It's gorgeous. I mean, Klein, uh, definitely, and I've said it numerous times. He just makes a piece of art look complete. From a comic book. He ties everything together well. It's the tonal stuff he puts into it, but there's just something special about his artwork, and I think that I think it was Thor before this. It just continues to get better and better and better. You see something like this, and it's grisly, but it doesn't gross you out because it's so well done and well executed that uh, we all want to own this DPS.
Yeah, this one's hanging right over there on the wall. But yeah, it's great. I mean, just it shows all the gruesomeness that's part of this series with Hulk, and definitely one of my
Amazing.
favorites.
Yeah.
All right, so probably as a Valiant collector and as a Rye fan, this is probably like top tier right here. You probably don't get too many collectors interviews that say Don Perlin and Stan Drake are their favorite pages.
No,
But
not at all.
but if you think about in the Unity saga, this is the turning point. Rye, stays behind to fight Mother God alone, and he dies, and they leave him dead. So this scene is actually this page is actually from Solar 13, but the Rye 7 was the first comic that Valiant comic I ever bought, which is the one where Rye dies. And so when they were piecemealing these pages together, a lot of the scenes were reused as stats in the other. And so that's what's happened here with this top panel, because this is the same scene, same art, everything that's in Rye 7. And so in on the page, there are no word bubbles in that. So the interesting thing to me is you can see the word bubbles survived. So at one time they were planning on there being some kind of dialogue, like hey, peace out or whatever she was going to say. And
Mhm.
that at the end when it went to production, they said, well, hey, him being blown to pieces is certainly enough. But yeah, the fact that Rye dies, the first comic, like I said, ever picked up Valiant, and to read that he stays dead because they bring another character, to be Rye behind him, and this is the turning point in the Unity deal because he stayed behind so Solar could be freed, which Solar then, once freed, takes down Mother God. And his sword actually is picked up by her son to stab her in the back to distract her long enough for Solar to be able to take her down. So this is the turning point in the Unity deal, in my opinion. So I reached out to Dan Moeller, who's a Valiant aficionado, and said, hey, would you part with this? And he gave me a price. I didn't really know if it was a good price or not. So I called Carl Choi, Triple X Carl. Something about them Carls, they're not really good at helping you save money.
Good at helping you spend money, right?
Yeah. And so Carl's like, man, get it. You'll never get another chance at this page. So, um, so, so that's what I did. I bought this page. And funny enough, I reached out to Dan because Dan had Rye take not to bore every non-Valiant person in here, but there's Rye takes his place, and they do the whole Rye the Future Force thing. That's where Sean Chen got his start and all that kind of stuff. But he ends up dying. Well, he had the death of that Rye. So in some weird sadistic way, I have both deaths of Rye in my collection for some reason. So Dan had that page. I was able to get it from him as well.
Wow. So this is as important as the Death of Phoenix from
Yeah,
John Byrne's
exactly.
137.
Exactly.
Okay.
Don't you feel that?
I guess if I went back and read the comics, maybe I'd feel it.
Well, hey, I tell you what, they've resurrected Phoenix many a time. Of course, Phoenix kind of lends to that, right? But
Yeah.
they didn't resurrect the Rye. They brought a new one in. That was kind of the comics loses the gravitas to it. When the character like Flash or Supergirl die in Infinite Crisis, and they left them dead for years and had their suitable replacements. Or Batgirl gets shot, Barbara Gordon gets shot and in a wheelchair, then they have suitable replacements. Nah, we won't bring the old ones back. I mean, it just kind of just takes away that whole story out of your childhood where you were like, wow. Yeah, Dave Kopecki said it. Valiant meant dead, and that was kind of one of Jim Starlin's. I'm not Jim Starlin, but Jim Shooter's deals.
Well, he liked it. He liked to try to keep him dead. Remember, it was because of Shooter that they rewrote the end of 137, right? They didn't want her getting. Yeah, I mean he was all about that for for better or worse. I mean, but hey, that's cool. So okay, I get it. But now you're making me feel like I need to read the whole storyline so I can feel the impact of this page.
Well, yeah, just get the Unity crossovers, just like the Unity storylines. I mean, when you talk about Unity, I mean, normally if somebody's just a casual Valiant reader, they always harken back to Unity as being like the gold standard. But those connecting covers, the first set done by Frank Miller, the second set done by Walt Simonson. I mean, you just had David Lapham was just getting his feet wet, before the whole Stray Bullets, all that kind of stuff, fame. It was good stuff.
Yeah, I think Walt Simonson just posted one of Pencil's versions on Facebook, didn't he?
Yeah, the Magnus Robot Fighter cover.
That's right. That's right. Kind of turned at a 90-degree angle. Okay, we're back into some Transformers here.
Yeah, so this is from the Marvel adaptation of Transformers, the movie. The movie that will live in infamy, depending on if you were one of the kids like myself that saw it and cried because Optimus died. But hey, this is the point where they're thrown into the Sharkticon pit. Now, the movie and the book vary because in this one, in the comic, Grimlock's thrown into the pit, but in the movie, Grimlock doesn't come till later to rescue him. So they do change a couple of things. One of the main things being in the comic is that it was not Hot Rod's fault that Optimus got killed. Megatron just shot him, so he wasn't in the way. That's right. The professor knows. That's right. But yeah, so this is Don Perlin again. Again, you probably will not have two Don Perlin pages on a collector deal, but the inks were fantastic. Yeah, that's true. That is true. But Ralph Macchio was the writer on this, and I don't typically get the writer to sign it unless the words are on it. But Don had recently passed away. Of course, he was already up in age when I bought this page from another CAF member. They put it up for sale on CAF, and I noticed it and picked it up.
The right pages from Transformers stories go for a lot of money.
Yeah, so there was one from the last page of issue 3 where Unicron's head's floating.
Mm.
I was bidding on that one. That I got outbid on that one on Heritage this year, and the cover to issue 1, I think it's on CAF because he's got a CAF page, the guy that owns it. But it went to, yeah. So I feel like I should be holding up. Of course, that's a different part. That's not here yet. But yeah,
Derek says it was crazy.
yeah.
He knows a thing or two about Transformers. I do
Yeah,
know that.
he does.
So classic page here, right? Let's zoom in on here. There we go. Death
Yeah,
of Captain Marvel.
yeah. So again, this weird fixation with death scenes.
Yeah.
But so I remember Captain Marvel, vaguely towards the end, like say the Pat Broderick, time where he was
Hmm.
illustrating towards the end of that series, Al Milgrom. And but really, I remember it when he was cameoed in a Silver Surfer issue because I was reading the Silver Surfer in the '90s when Ron Lim was doing that. And I'm like, who is this guy? So I want to find out more about him. And I picked up the Marvel graphic novel, which is what this is from, with the death of Captain Marvel. And because this is pre-internet, obviously, so the way you find out about stuff is just read about it or maybe get the Marvel Universe um, things that they would do. But so I was able to pick this up from my comic shop, and I'm like, wow, this guy died of cancer, and he stayed dead. Another novel concept, right?
Was Jim Shooter the editor back then? I'm
He
sure he
probably
was.
was. He probably still was at this point.
Right. I mean, wasn't this like 84 or something? I don't know. I can't remember what year this came out, but yeah, we blame it on Shooter. I mean,
Yeah,
hey, he did a lot of great storylines.
for sure. And in dealing with grief, I forget that was it the 5 stages of grief where you have like anger and then acceptance and all those other kinds of things. Like this is the place where he's in denial. Rick's in denial. So Marvel has said, "Hey, I'm going to die of cancer. I can't fight it," and so he starts blaming Marvel for it. Like you ought to be fighting this. There's got to be some other kind of way. And Marvel's already to the point where like there's nothing I can do. I can't help it. Um, so yeah, this was funny on this Heritage buy here because I had the Heritage up and it was in my office and it was, there was a live auction. And so I came, I went left for an hour, came back, and this page literally comes up as I'm sitting down. I didn't even realize it was on there. This was back before CAF expanded their keyword searches, so I couldn't have Captain Marvel in there. But now that it's done that,
You do now, though, right?
you do now. And so, as a matter of fact, Tom's looked at some stuff, and I've asked him if he was bidding on it because I didn't want to bid on it, bidding against him. But anyway, so it was kind of like after his death that Captain Marvel became a thing for me. But yeah, so when I saw this page, I went deep on to the mat with this one and picked it up just because of what it was. Unfortunately, and it's a large, harder type board that it's drawn on. Unfortunately, they do fade or have been known to fade. But yeah, so
Yeah,
I
the
felt
markers, right?
like,
I think, yeah.
yeah, Jim Starlin did writing and the inks, drawing all that. So
Well, I'm sure this one is not on the wall. This one's in a nice portfolio away from, yeah, the light. I mean, you can stop it. I mean, but yeah, it is unfortunate. But it was back in that era where people were just experimenting with different, tools and things, and nobody really thought about, uh, the inks fading from the markers. But it's still, I mean, as far as like kind of ushering in the, these large format storylines, that I mean, this was like I had to pick it up, but I didn't even know the backstory when it came out. But yeah, it was emotional. It definitely was, and this is good, and it was fate
yeah,
sitting down, and this thing popped up.
It must have been. And, you know, like I said earlier, we were talking about comics curing cancer. I mean, everybody's had like, you know, somebody in their family die or some close relative of cancer. So to think that, like, hey, even a superhero, you know, it's possible that he didn't even beat this. Um,
Yeah, that's a great page. Really good. I think we have one last one.
is this the next to last one here?
Or is it next to last or last? I can't remember.
I
Let's
got the one that's not on CAF yet, but that I sent you.
ah, all right, all right. I
That's
think I
the
didn't pull that one, but I'll get it.
so this so again reading John Byrne as he gets put onto Namor. You know, Namor was the corporate raider of the '90s, right? Like that was
Yeah.
his corporate raider days. And so Byrne was writing, he was drawing, um, and so I was an Iron Fist fan. I had gotten a Iron Fist comic, the last issue of Power Man and Iron Fist, where Danny supposedly dies. When my mother got it from the Star Store, which was a comic shop in Jackson, Mississippi, uh, when I had chickenpox. And so I was an Iron Fist fan, but hey, they killed him off. And like this is 5 years removed from that time. So like in real life, so like in comic world, you think, man, he's never coming back, right?
Right.
Well, so it made sense that when since Namor, I mean, since John Byrne kind of rose to fame with the help of the Marvel Premiere stuff that he was doing with Iron Fist, that he would be the one to bring him back. So this is another one of those. Well, this is an attempted after Comic Art Live sale. So this was posted on last year at the end of the year Comic Art Live for a price I did not agree on. And I reached out to the individual and gave them an offer, which was it's admittedly lower than what they wanted, quite a bit lower. And they said no, they're going to hold on to it. Well, lo and behold, it shows up on Comic Link, and
Man, you've had some good luck that way.
and I paid less than what I even offered them for it. So they would have been better
Ooh.
off taking my offer when I gave it.
Oh, well, live and learn, right?
But yeah,
I've
so
heard there's deals to be had at Comic Link every now and again.
yeah, the only deal is you can't save them like you can with Heritage. But anyway, this with this, there was a page, the previous Comic Link auction from this issue, and so I didn't realize they were going to post this one. So I went
Mm.
ahead and got that one, which is great, and I'm fine to keep it. But when I seen this one, I'm like, I gotta have it, gotta have it. Only problem is I'm on my way out of the country to London when this is being auctioned off. So I'm literally watching the auction on my phone on the airplane internet to make sure that I won this. And
Well,
so
and it
it,
worked.
and it worked, which was great because usually airplane internet's kind of you know spotty at best. But
Mhm.
yeah, so this is where he busts out of the pod to rescue the day. There's Misty Knight right there below Danny's normal love interest. But Bob Wycheck, who's known for a lot of great stuff over the years, he did Bloodshot 1. He did Hulk 340 inking it, the inking on that. So he did that, the inking on this, and he earned his keep. You see all that detail with all the water going everywhere. He definitely was probably cursing John Byrne under his breath, but he would be the
Yeah,
first person to do it. But
Bob inked a lot of stories that I really like a lot. I mean, he was yeah, I love his style. It's just strong, fluid. Um, I like it on a lot of different pencilers. Leia Loa, in particular, has worked with him on Spider Woman and just great stuff. So, yeah, Wycheck's amazing. That's good. It was fate. It was destined to happen. But it started at Comic Art Live. Let's remind everybody about that.
held twice a year, and this was
That's
end of
right.
last year.
Well, you're going to get two buckets of calf bucks when this thing is all over.
So yeah, so that's where this one is posted in my office with a copy of the page from the comic.
Cool.
up there. So.
Well, all right. We have one other piece to look at. You're right. I forgot to move it over here, but I have it. There we go.
There we
Look at
go.
that. That's beautiful.
So this is from Deathmate Prologue. This is the first page in the issue. To my knowledge, this is the only issue, and there was only, I think, 11 pages or 13 pages that were part of this story. The only time that Jim Lee inked Barry Windsor Smith. And so I had not had a Jim Lee published page. And as you know, these are definitely hard to get for any kind of decent price. Jim Lee by himself. Add Barry Windsor Smith on top of it. So I knew the person who got this. He might have a habit of being XXX. And so I knew who had it. And then lo and behold, I see it show up on Heritage. And I texted him. I said, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing with your life, right? I mean, so it was funny because, oh, nice.
David.
From that issue, yeah, wow. So he said he was, moving some stuff because he's got a bigger fish, in mind. So I was watching it, had been watching it. So this thing's coming up. I'm watching the auction just like this. My phone buzzes and my camera, my security camera at one of my properties goes off. I'm like, why's this going off? Who's out there? So I pull this up and I go, who is this? I'm sitting here trying to watch it. Literally, this thing goes by. I missed it. And I look up and I go, what the crap? What happened? And so I'm like, oh, and I'm texting Carl telling him, man, I can't believe I missed it, yada, yada. Well, Heritage depends on your option. You can do a offer up if you have that option on there. So that's what I did. So I offered the buyer more than what he had previously paid for it, and he took it.
Wow.
So yeah, this came in just a couple weeks ago, maybe last week or so. And so yeah, I'll put it live on my CAF. But yeah, so
he's debuting it here tonight.
So it will be on my CAF page, as all good pages should be. But yeah, so Jim has not signed this, and I'm hoping to meet Jim this year and get him to autograph this. Now, the only side note is, as I understand it, Scott Williams, who's Jim's typical inker on stuff, kind of ghost inked on some of these pages. I don't think it's this one, but he's got some that he's got. I know Comic Art Boston, he has a page from this issue in his CAF Gallery. Carl still has one. He had two, this one and the one he still has. But yeah, I couldn't believe the guy accepted it. And
right, I've actually never heard of anybody using the make offer feature, let alone also getting them to take it. So that's pretty incredible.
Well, so yeah, so I've never. This is the first time I've made an offer and somebody accepted it. Mm-hmm. I have had people reach out to me on stuff, well, through Heritage, obviously, because they made an offer, and I accepted a price. Actually, countered them, and then they came back and still took it. So it's one of those things. Hey, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Right, but now when is this after the artwork already gets to you? You already have it in hand, and somebody's making an offer after the fact.
Yeah.
And how does Heritage handle that transaction then?
Yeah, you mail it back to them.
You have to send it back to Heritage, and then Heritage ships it to the. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. Huh. So does the buyer? I mean, you would know this then. Does the buyer have to pay shipping twice? Or does Heritage absorb it somehow in some kind of fee?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they charge enough fees. They ought to ship them for free, but
That's not going to happen. But okay, well, I'm curious. I've honestly I've never talked to anybody who's won or sold on a make offer from Heritage before, so that's interesting. I always
Yeah, when
wondered if
they
they were successful.
yeah, when they sent the one that I did, they sent me the thing saying, "Hey, this person wants to pay you this after your fees. This is what," because I had bought this same page from Heritage,
Yeah.
so they gave you a discount or whatever for previously having bought the page from them. But they said this is what you're going to get, just so you know. That way, if you want to say yes or no to it. But it would. I think Peter Rowe asked, how many, what percentage are accepted. That would be a good thing to find out, because um, it's a nice thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. Well, cool. Well, congrats on that. Doesn't again, that's a first for me too. So that's that's awesome. And so it's in hand. So what are you gonna do with it? Is it gonna end up on your wall? How are you gonna
I don't think that I'll ever get Barry Windsor Smith to sign it,
hmm
but it's a good chance I could get Jim to sign it. It's just I'm going to have to bite the bullet and at a con he's at, pay for the price and then sitting in line, But I do want to, before I frame it, I want to get him to sign it.
Well, since Newell is your official photographer, I would suggest that you bring him along and
Yeah.
he can document that moment when Jim signs the piece for you.
Yeah, so Jim is gonna. I'm thinking about being at a show that is nearby OAX, but is in a different month this year than what it was last year. Not to be named on here, right? I'm thinking about braving that show because Jim's going to be
It
there.
is it is not a good show. I'll just give it to you there. But hey, if you're just going to get something signed by Jim Lee and that's all you're going there for, then but that might be a show where the line would be really nasty. I don't know. That you might want to try to find a show that's like because he goes to some of those lower key shows, right? I mean, he was like in some St. Louis shows 4 or 6 months ago. I mean, I can't imagine that like the lines at those places would be insane. But I
But
think
once they find out
really
he's there, yeah, I mean, I'm sure it gets crazy. I mean, because he's from St. Louis. I think he grew up in St. Louis.
oh, okay. Because yeah, I remember because Albert was at whenever that show was. It was like last June or something. But either way, I mean, MegaCon, I don't mind saying it, is they're you are packed in there like sardines already. The idea of a Jim Lee line at that show, I can't even imagine what that would be like. But if you're brave, more power to you.
Well, I thought that at Baltimore last year because Jim was there last year, and but the guys that went through that line, they said it was like clockwork. I mean, they had this roller thing that just kind of rolled things along. I mean, they were just in and out of there. So that doesn't mean every show's like that, but
Well, best of luck. Wherever you end up getting it done. Uh, well, Jason, I hate to tell you this. My daughter is pinging me because she wants me to make her some chicken nuggets before she goes to bed. So,
yep.
I'm gonna. So yeah, I don't know what happened when you got interrupted, but that was my interruption. My daughter, she had the flu over. Well, fortunately, she didn't have it on Christmas Day. It was like the day after she started coming down with it, and we flew back yesterday, and she's still just nasty. She's been sleeping all day, and now she's hungry. So
Oh, yeah. Well, then
like,
maybe she's
all
on
right.
the she's on the mend.
Yeah, that sounds like because it's just been soup the last 2 days. It was easy, but now she wants something solid. But hey, man, this was long overdue. I wish we could have done this sooner because we did try, but I'm glad we were able to get this thing out of the way. And I do hope that we get to see you at OAX in February. If not, congratulations on the first granddaughter. That's going to be freaking awesome. And there's other shows. Maybe when you're down, if you come down and you're in the area for a little, extra day or two, let us know. I can swing by and say hey.
All right. Well, sounds good. And I just activated that Deathmate page in my CAF Gallery. So, but yeah, appreciate everybody for showing up. Hit that like button if you haven't already done so. And I'm sure everybody here is already subscribed and hit that bell notification so they know when Bill goes live. He's going to let us down this week because he's a quitter. For Wednesday. Is there a show Thursday?
There is a show Thursday. We're doing a New Year's Day show. I've got who do I have on Thursday? I have Terry Dodson. He'll be
Oh,
coming
very
on.
good.
You have he's doing a little pre-OEX, and it's very limited. So anybody who wanted to get a guaranteed Terry Dodson piece, you'll want to be quick on Thursday because he's taking 3 pre-OEX. No, actually, he's taking 6. I did convince him to do 3 sketch cards too. So it's a 3 and 3 kind of a deal on Thursday, and then and actually Bob Layton's going to join me too. He had that
Ah,
one of his shows in, I think it was Seoul. He sent me some video clips from it where he did a short interview with Frank Miller, Jim Lee. I can't think of who else because I haven't edited it yet. But so Bob will be joining. It'll be a fun New Year's Day show. Pretty chill, I think.
well, and then Saturday you've got another show.
I do with Mr. Hillary Barta and some fun art here. I'm linking to your piece right now that you just activated in your CAF gallery. There it is, everybody. You can head over to it right now. I got the first view on it though. Just remember that. But I haven't commented yet, so I would expect all of you who are fans to leave a comment.
Did you at least leave me a like, Bill?
Oh, let me get the first one on there.
Oh wow.
There we go. I do. I got the first like on it. But somebody else has got a comment on it already. All right. Tom McDonald, number 1. See, Marcus wasn't here. He missed out on this. The best Marcus can hope to be is number 2 tonight. All right. Oh man. All right, Jason. Well, listen, this is great talking with you, man. I hope you have a great New Year. And yeah, I look forward. If I don't see you at OEX, I'm sure I'll run into you at Heroes,
Yeah.
at the very least. So thanks. And I gotta I don't get to watch as much YouTube as I'd like. So I don't get to see a lot of the other talk shows. I don't get to see Carl's or your shows, but I should try to make some time just to have something in the background while I'm working at night.
There you go.
But I appreciate all the stuff you do over there too.
All right. Well, appreciate everybody for showing up tonight. Good night.
All right, everybody. You have a wonderful evening, a happy New Year, and we will be back on Thursday at 9 p.m. on New Year's Day with Terry Dodson and Bob Layton. Good night, everybody.